Welcome to In the Stiffs podcast with me, Sam Aiston. I'm joined by my friends and former Shrewsbury teammates, Gavin Cowan and Dave Edwards. Big thank you to our sponsors, the brilliant Budgeon Motors, kindly sponsoring us in this third series. A family-owned business of 40 years with exceptional customer service. Loads of competitive deals on new and used cars. Get yourselves down there. Welcome everybody to the latest episode of In the Stiffs. One of the top 10 sports podcasts in the UK.
Decided by who?
Apparently.
I don't know whether I should have said that. I've just made that up. If we keep that though, and we spread the word, that's how it works, isn't it? Yeah. So if I just if I'm on video saying that, I think that could lead to success.
Why not just go one better? Why not just say the best sports, or say it better than that anyway?
Yeah,
well, we are in one country. We know which country.
Second.
We have huge followers.
Second in Uganda.
I think we've taken over now.
Just taking over Uganda, right?
Yeah.
Oh, just the podcast. I don't. We can clip that, and we can just say that and like you fake it till you make it. So if we believe, I don't know if we. I think keep it in. I think keep this whole conversation in. I don't know whether we can say we're the best or the
welcome to In the Stiffs podcast, the best sports podcast in the world,
and in the top 10 in the UK.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. We've got some biscuits. We're open to biscuit sponsors, aren't we? Has anybody got any favourites?
Am I not the biscuit sponsor?
Yeah, but I was
the provider.
Since day one, I'm the beer sponsor, the biscuit, the crisps, the sandwiches.
Can we make that official? So Gavin Cowan's our new biscuit sponsor.
Unless any biscuit sponsors.
Companies.
If anyone wants to relinquish me of my duties,
Foxes,
which I'll be more than happy to.
Are these Foxes?
Yeah,
biscuits?
let's go realistic. Let's ask Foxes if they'll do it.
Foxes or McVitie's.
Who's the owner? Is it Rule Fox, the owner?
Yeah, Rule. Yeah.
A shout out to Rule Fox if you want to provide us with any biscuits.
Yeah, and Jack the Hat McVitie as well.
Why is Rich shaking his head at us?
Jack the Hat McVitie, he does the other ones.
Just having a bit of fun with Rich thinks right, let's get on with it. Rich doesn't seem very happy there. We're being a little bit silly.
Sorry.
Thanks to our real sponsors.
Thanks to our real sponsors, Budgeon. Don't get any biscuits from them though, do we?
No, they don't. No. I mean, they do sponsor us and they do help us a lot, but no biscuits.
And I know obviously they help us out with the cars and they help my daughter out with the car, but it'd be nice to have some biscuits.
Yeah, and a bit of cheese and maybe some olives and that.
I don't know. Well, yeah, that's
hummus and.
I'd have to be a different provider.
Yeah.
Anyway, training sessions we're going to talk about this week. Then we've got quite a few good questions, haven't we? So we're trying to keep it to about 45 minutes. I think any longer than that.
I thought you could say 45 questions.
No, but I think I find that a little bit now with podcasts. If they say like 2 hours, 47 minutes, it's off-putting. I think because my commute to work now used to be 35 minutes and now it's about 10. So I'm looking for something shorter. So to be honest, I wouldn't really listen to In the Stiffs on the way to work because it's too short, it's too long.
I mean, you could listen to it in parts though, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can press the pause button if you want.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you could, yeah. Well, give a bit of advice for the listeners then. If your commute's shorter than the 45-minute episode, pause it and then listen.
This is the most random start to a podcast.
This is a normal night out for me and Sam. This is how it all starts.
Right, anyway, let's get on with some training sessions. So... Dave, you've had loads of different coaches. I've had loads of different coaches. Gav, you are now a coach. Like, I think you put on some good sessions these days.
Yeah, you have to pride yourself on it, don't you? I think, especially at the level I'm working at, you can't just... It's rare that you can just be a manager.
That's what I was going to say. Are you more of a manager or a coach? Because
I think at this level, you almost need, you need to sort of cover 5 areas. But I think management and coaching as in being on the grass is important. So management is obviously the management of the team in terms of logistics, liaising with board, all of that. But there's obviously then the man management, which, I try to pride myself on.
Yeah. Because two separate things in it.
I think so, yeah. The coaching's very much on the grass. Like with us at Brackley at the moment, I do all of the tactical stuff and I've sort of handed over everything to my assistant, Jay. He does all the technical stuff.
So what do you mean by technical? So he'll do the drills, like the passing drills. And
like the keep ball sessions, and if I have a desire to work on something in the final third or in a certain area of the pitch, we can come up with like a drill that we can work on there. But then we open it out like a bigger phase of play and make it more tactical.
So that initial bit then, you plan that together and then you let Jay take it and you just stand back and watch?
Yeah, it started off with being me, and then obviously Jay's input becomes more and more and more, and then where we wanted to get to is we want to hand it over to him, because obviously he wants to play his part and have his take on it, and then, when it comes over to a game scenario, it's me.
Yeah.
So Dave, you try and give us an example of someone you would see as a manager and someone you'd see as more of a coach. Could you do that?
I think...
Like Mick McCarthy, I'd imagine, to me, I was seeing him as more of a manager. Is that correct? Whereas Paul Lambert might be more on the grass with the lads.
I think everyone I've had has had a bit of coaching back. Like you hear stories, say, of Fergie, for instance.
Yeah.
Never coached.
Yeah.
Just stand on the side, watch, take it all in. You hear about that, different people as well. I think Steve Bruce is similar to that, really being a really successful manager, stands back, implements his coaches to go and do all the sessions.
I've heard a lot of managers only come out on a Friday. They're all week. There'll be sessions going on. Coaches, whether it be first team coach.
I hear stuff like that. I hear that all the time. And there's so many different ways to manage and be successful. That's pure man management, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then making sure they're right for the Saturday, and you can implement the tactics on a Saturday. But I think all of the managers I've had have all been on the grass. Maybe at different degrees. So Mick, for instance, he would be out watching most of it, but when it got to, like you said, the tactical side, the game prep, he would very much be in there. All the 11v11 stuff.
Yeah.
So the shape, he'll be out in the middle of the pitch. He'll be dictating where the ball's going to start, which team's going to have it. Like when you're doing when you're playing against who you're going to be playing on a Saturday. You're doing that in your training session. He'll dictate all that. But then I think later in my career, the coaching became, from a manager, definitely became more. So they'd be more involved in all of the session rather than just the end bits. I think at the start, it's more just the game prep. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not the day-to-day stuff.
Is coaching, though, I would imagine it's a lot more difficult now to become a coach, to put a session on. There's a lot more thought goes into it than what it is 20 years ago. I think even when I was playing for Sunderland, I don't know how much thought was in it, but there was a lot of five-a-sides. Even when I went to Shrewsbury, a lot of five-a-sides, a lot of like keep ball stuff, quite basic sessions, nothing too complicated. Whereas now, you watch sort of documentaries with Pep Guardiola, it seems there's an awful lot of detail now for the players to take on board. I can't remember getting a lot of maybe that was just going to me a lot of detail, but get a lot of detail.
There's so much more in the latter start of my career, and I see now, like in the documentary, is what we call patterns of play. Mm-hmm. So in and out of possession, phases of play which will happen on a Saturday, what you're predicting will happen from an attacking point of view and a defensive point of view, they'll be played out through the week. Sort of not hard work at all. You stood there in your shape, you're walking through it. And
you can actually use it as a recovery session.
Yeah, and then you build it up into maybe a bit more match tempo, but it's all about maybe picking 3 or 4 areas where you can go and hurt the opposition, whether it's a little 1-2 down the side, whatever, working these positions on the pitch to get into to hurt the opposition. And likewise, from a defensive point of view, they will try and get down the sides of you. So this is going to happen. As a team, we need to do X or do Y. That's definitely the back end of my career. That was the majority of the week, was doing that. You only might have one day where it's a bit more fun, five-a-sides. Yeah. Things like, whereas when I was younger, it was always five-a-sides, shooting.
As a player, I saw minimal of the latter of what you've just said, and as a coach, it's all I've seen.
Yeah.
So it's all I've done. Yeah, that
moved
way.
on.
It's an evolution.
Moved on massively.
It's an evolution.
Yeah.
But also, I remember at Sunderland not paying a lot of attention to the opposition. You know, they might have the team up on the Friday who that might be playing, but I can't remember really ever thinking about who we were playing against. I can't remember ever.
So to give you an insight of where it must be at a higher level, for our level now, there's a platform, Huddle, Y Scout. We get logins to all of this. So I get to, by 10 o'clock the next morning on a Sunday, I get to see the opposition. So I get to see their game from the day before.
Who are you playing next week? So your preparation for that week starts.
I'm there at 9 o'clock waiting for it just to load up.
As simple as they play 3-5-2. Yeah. The right back, the right wing back lights the bum on, the left wing back tucks in a little, all that sort of.
And I work in threes, so I'll plan 3 ahead for the next game, the game after that, and then I'll look at the opposition's last 3 games, because obviously you need to know whether it's personnel, it's whether they've done different set pieces and all of that. So you have them platforms to look at to then on a Sunday, by the end of Sunday, I'll have my week planned out. So when I get in on a Tuesday night, I'll know exactly what I'm doing. Jay will know what we're doing. The staff will know what we're doing.
And it's tailored to who you're playing against on that.
But like you rightly say though, there's an element of course, you have to look at that. So what I'll do is on the Tuesday, we'll dissect the game we'll do analysis when we get there. We always do analysis.
Of your game?
Yeah, of our game. Then on the Thursday, I'd have prepped everything about the opposition. So I'll give them some of the more complex detail on the Thursday. So on a Saturday, I don't want to fill their heads with any of that. So by the time we get to Saturday, I can, like, some real bullet point stuff, get it into them, and then they're out.
This is where coaching nowadays, for me, is almost too intense. The way you have to think. When you finish a game as a player, you get to switch off for a couple of days, don't you?
Yeah.
All that work's done. Whereas I don't think I could do it. Losing a game on a Saturday, that disappointment, then straight away you got to flip for Sunday morning, start prepping for the next game.
Horrendous.
You're straight back into it.
Yeah. When you win, like, you can't wait.
Yeah.
You have to just find something in you on a Sunday, because what you want to do is, I'll leave it till Monday, but you can't, because you know you've got to get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And you know that what you actually hope is you hope that the other manager's doing the same. So you got to try and get ahead of him. So it's just...
But obviously the beauty then is higher up, a manager can go in on a Sunday or a Monday morning and he is being provided with all that information.
Yeah, it's all prepped, yeah.
And then it's all prepped for him, and then he can have his take on it, whereas you're doing the prepping.
And he will have someone who knows how they play in and out of possession in all three phases of the pitch, and he'll go, I know exactly what you're going to ask. There it is. There's the best three options of that particular scenario clipped. He can go through and pick out his best, and it's done.
I tell you what we did used to have, though. We used to have, like, you'd sometimes get on the day, only on the day of the game, you might have their team up on there, but you'd have a sheet of paper that the scout would done of the opposition.
Yeah.
So I'd suddenly look at their number 2 right back, and it would say, like, 6'2", quick, strong. I'm like, oh, good.
Brilliant.
But obviously it might be different, but if then you'd say right back, 6'2", athletic, strong. Say left back, like 5'9", slow.
Struggles to defend.
After 10 minutes, to confuse them, we might switch wings, shall we? Like Jags or something. Things aren't working out after 10 minutes, shall we switch it?
Yeah.
That was as much as you got. I can't remember ever getting...
There's always, for that old school stuff, like that's not old school. There's still a place for all of that. It's not changed, it's just developed. Yeah. That's all that's happened.
And also you need to do it now, because back then no one did it, so you were all in the same boat.
Yeah. Well, I had a game recently where I actually thought to myself, they've sort of kept the same formation in the last 3 games. I won't watch their game from 3 games ago. And then I made myself do it. I made myself do it and see that they'd done a corner that actually they hadn't done in the previous 2. So I just highlighted it to the players. Look, if this hand goes up and if they set up here, just be mindful. And they did it, and we stopped it. And I was a bit like, when it happened, I was like, thank God for that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because I actually thought to myself, they've not changed personnel, nothing's changed. And I was sort of almost convincing myself, but it's a rule for me that you have to look three behind. So yeah, it's developed loads, isn't it?
But you know what you're saying there, right? You get that little bit of information. I was playing with loads of players at the latter stage of my career who didn't want that information. Mm-hmm. They wanted to play with that freedom, go out there and just play their game. I was the complete opposite. I really embraced that side of stuff. I wanted to know as much as possible because I felt like it gave me an edge. Yeah. So before every game, I'd watch the opposition midfielders from the analysts, know everything about them, which way they like to turn, if they do a trick, if they're obviously stronger at some sort of passing, just so I can read them and try and nick the ball. Every little thing, I found it kind of empowered me to play better, but I played with lads who were the complete opposite. Yeah. So and there's no right or wrong in that at all.
Nah. To counter that, I have no more than, so this is what I've worked out in my time as a manager, I've no more than 4 minutes footage, and we don't do it for longer than 12 minutes. Yeah.
In a group,
in terms of me talking,
switch off.
Because there's lads there who are bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, they're looking at you, and there's other lads who are sort of going, please, like, just get me out of here. So then if you need more detail, but it's more of an individual thing, you can speak to them later. So just collectively, you go 4 minutes footage, no more than that, and no more than 12 minutes talking.
Yeah, because I can see that. You're sort of beating the dressing room. If you know you're playing against a good player, and you're like, oh my God, he's playing today. Last time I played against him, he was brilliant. Yeah. It can be a negative. So
if you go back to when we started, well, obviously you were playing a few years before me, but how those training sessions, the structure of it was just all fun and games of fitness, wasn't it?
So I mean, I would say like what we used to do when we started off, you'd have the structure of it. You'd have a warm up.
Then you'd do what was your week? So if you played Saturday, what would your training week be?
When we were at Sunderland, that was Peter Reid, and we were flying. And you would play Saturday, you'd be off Sunday. The lads who played, so obviously I didn't start all the time, but the lads who started would be play Saturday, off Sunday, off Monday, train Tuesday. You have a good blast on a Tuesday.
Bin bags.
Yeah, Wednesday, off Wednesday, and then like a tough session Thursday and Friday, like, but a lot of detail on the Thursday, a bit more detail, then Friday, like 5-a-side. But when you're winning, you're top of the league, you know, you're just taking over, aren't you? It's great. Yeah. And then obviously, as you probably have found this, if you ever struggling, then those days off would stop, wouldn't it? The sessions would get longer. And I get why the manager's doing that, but also that can have a negative effect because it snowballs, because the lads are struggling a bit anyway, and they're not getting a day off and not seeing their families as much. They're in more, sessions are longer. So it's a difficult one. I was thinking that with Kevin Ratcliffe when we were at Shrewsbury. When we were struggling, he didn't always know what to do because he'd never really been struggling. He'd always been at Everton, hadn't he? And you're always successful. And then all that, like Peter Reid and Kevin Ratcliffe sessions were all like head tennis, keep ball, circle, 5-a-sides. That was pretty much it. And we're always winning. But then when you're losing, how would you pull that back?
For me, there's no right or wrong because I think you've got to read the room a little bit. Like I've had times where we have lost, but you know the manner in which you lose, and you know when the lads are on board, and you know if they're going through a bit of a tough time, and it's like, pff. But when they're on board, I think sometimes, like you rightly say there, you think I'm going to get them in, they can get in, we'll do this, and you're almost trying to flog a dead horse. So sometimes just giving them that journey off, giving them time with their family, they appreciate that, and then they're ready to come in again fresh. So sometimes you're right. It's like the manner in which they lose. Like right, we're getting in and we're facing this head on. I don't think there's any sort of given way.
So when you're in the Prem, Dave, think about you in the Prem. What would your week look like?
Very, very similar to that. It was Mick McCarthy, very more traditional manager. So if we're playing Saturday, no midweek game. Yeah. If we had a midweek game, we'd be in on the Sunday. But usually play Saturday, off Sunday. In Monday, the lads who had played would be in, but doing a bit more of a recovery. Yeah. Might be out on their feet a little bit, but not doing a lot. The lads who didn't play would have a tough session on the Monday. Tuesday would be a tough session for everyone. Yeah. Wednesday off, Thursday, big prep day. So not as tough as the Tuesday, but still a lot in the legs, but more for the opposition on the Saturday. Friday, bare minimum set pieces. So you do like 5-0s, a little bit of fun, set pieces, and then done by 11:30, 12 o'clock, back out. But training schedules changed though between managers, especially at the back end of my career. It got really, really popular to change those days off. So rather than a Sunday, Wednesday, it would change to a Monday, Thursday. So we did it at Reading under the Amsterdam. I used to really like it. I think mainly because you get a bit. I felt like I get more time off because on the Sunday you wouldn't be in for very long at all if you played. So he was saying the most important recovery day is the day after. So he would get you in on the Sunday, do your recovery, only be until again 11:30, 12. Get yourself home, off Monday, in Tuesday, Wednesday for 2 back-to-back tough sessions, a lot of prep, a lot of detail. Thursday off, Friday very little, and he would say you would go into that weekend fresh because you've had Thursday off, light Friday, you shouldn't be carrying anything in your legs then, and then you can just concentrate on the game.
If I managed full-time, I think that's the way I'd go.
I really liked it.
It makes sense to have that Sunday though, because we used to just get a Sunday off. So you'd be off the Sunday, so everybody would go out Saturday night for a few beers, you'd eat pizza, whatever. So like you wake up Monday and you'd come training and you'd be stiff, you'd be aching, because you wouldn't have done it. You know, you'd say I have a walk, but you didn't necessarily do that on a Sunday morning, especially if you'd been out on a Saturday night. So you still, like, your legs are heavy still for Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be my chosen way.
And a lot of modern day managers now, I know, do a 4-day building, so they want to be in 4 days for a game. So they would actually be off Sunday, Monday. If they've done one and done well, they'd be off Sunday, Monday, and then they'd be in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as a 4-day building, working up towards the game, because they can really taper the load of players and have control over what they're doing in those 4 days to the game. Yeah. They think days off is a little bit of a variable, isn't it, that they don't want.
I think though as well, players looking after themselves much more, aren't they? They're going home with their heart monitors and stuff now, so it's different, isn't it? It's not like, say, we'd play on a Saturday and we'd end up coming back from Sunderland. This was like in the Championship, we'd all have a few beers on the coach on the way back, and then go out Saturday night. You know, whereas now they're not doing that, and they're probably going to go for, you know, you can trust them, I would imagine, to go for a walk or a jog or whatever. On the Sunday
it's completely the opposite. Yeah, lads now you can definitely trust them to do that. When we did our pre-season tour in Isle of Man, we got there on a Friday. We were due to play on a Saturday, but so I give the lads a bit of a curfew on the Friday. Don't think anyone was late in the curfew. I don't think there was some of the senior lads were like, lads, our night out's tomorrow. Like, let's save it for then. They were brilliant.
Yeah,
they're listening to this going, not that you know of. Good. Good. Yeah.
The amount of curfews though, where we've been on pre-season trips and you come back and then you go straight back out again. It's just common, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a revolving door.
I think sometimes...
Night gaffer, throw it back out the other way.
I think sometimes when they give you a curfew, sometimes would they really mind it? Would you mind, Gavin?
No.
I know you wouldn't mind
Not
it.
depending on the scenario. If it's a pre-season tour and you're there specifically to, for team camaraderie and to build.
Yeah.
Yes, you're there for conditioning. Yes, you're there to, get set and ready for the season. But you are there primarily to get the group together. Like this season, I had 10 brand new players. We're still bonding now. We're still finding our feet as a group. But what we did in 3 days, you can't do in 3 months.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if I didn't see some of them new lads and some of the other lads sneaking off down the fire escape afterwards. You go good, like you look after each other, you become mates.
It'd be brilliant to catch one of them and go, where are you off then?
Yeah.
Let's go on, have a good night. Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's good. So in terms of a session, this is what I imagine a session to be like, and what I normally have through my career is you have a warm-up, jog, stretch, etc. Then you go into little passing drills or something like that, whatever that might look like. Then you'd have some sort of maybe deliberate practice about whatever switching the play or something like that. Then 5v5s, then we do a bit of shooting or whatever, something specific in the end. Would that sessions look much different to that these days, Gavin?
Our sessions, and obviously we're part-time, it's hard. I don't like going longer than 90 minutes. So in terms of a training session, I don't understand the concept of training. Obviously you do your extras, but I'm talking collectively as a group. Training for longer than 90 minutes I don't understand. Like, why would you train for an hour when you know they've got to be ready? Like we train on a 3G and we're already looking at the moment. We've had a couple of non-contact injuries. So we're now going, right, okay, our 3G is probably, 70 by 50. So we're very mindful that are the players...
That's smaller than normal, yeah?
Yeah, lots more. Yeah, sorry. So we're mindful that are they stretching their legs enough? Are they... So we do a lot of Nordics, a lot of reverse Nordics for injury prevention. Then we're looking at max strides, so trying to get them just to get full-on sprints, but they need a 10-metre roll-in, 40-metre sprint for a 10-metre roll-off. And now we've started doing that. We've sort of adjusted the medical team a little bit, got these ideas coming in, and then all of a sudden the injuries are starting to subside. So we're wondering whether that's actually played a bit of a part. So we'll go warm-up. That'll be led by S&C. That'll go into strength and conditioning. Sorry. Then that'll go into extended warm up, normally with the balls, but like a passing drill, bit short, sharp. But then that's a time where they can manage themselves. So some of them need to be ready, so they really push themselves. Some of them know that they want to ease in a little bit more. So you have to come up with something where they can do that. That'll be led by Jay. Then they'll go into the technical stuff. So it'll be a drill, whatever that may be, something that we're working on that will build into something with me, which will be more of a tactical thing. So. And then we'll always finish with 5-0. So the lads, because you're part-time, the lads love it. On a Thursday, they love their 5-0s. And obviously they've got to get worse trainer. So in those 5-0s, they look at the Tuesday and the Thursday. And we call it the Brackley Butler. And it's
whoever's the worst person.
Whoever's the worst trainer gets the Brackley Butler.
What do you have to do now?
So what it was, I ordered a suit to my office, and I saw it online, and it was from this naughty website. But it looked brilliant. The model looked brilliant. And I just thought, well, I'm better looking than him. Yeah. That suit's going to look better on me. Yeah. I'm getting it. It was only cheap. So I thought, I've got a world here. I'm not telling anyone. It came and it was like something from Heidi High. It was baggy. It was like a fancy dress costume. So obviously I put it on in the office, got absolutely hammered. But we kept the jacket because we knew when we got a job, we had to use it for worst trainer. So we kept it and we just wrote on the back, Brackley Butler, because it looks like a butler's jacket. Yeah. But the Brackley Butler has to get the drinks for the lads on the away journey. So that's basically make the teas and everything. So if it's an away journey, he has to wear the jacket and do all of that. So they love all of that. So we use that at the end as well.
Do the lads still do that nowadays? When we always used to have that worst.
Yeah.
It was standard, yellow. It used to be yellow. It's called the yellow jersey.
Yellow jersey,
the yellow jersey, worst trainer. And you try and get big. You'd go around, wouldn't you? Be like, you're trying a bit of canvassing. I'd walk out, if you especially if you're under pressure, if you hadn't had a good session, Gav, how bad was Dave? So I'm going to vote for Dave. I am. Who are you voting for?
Yeah.
You vote for Dave as well. I am.
Usually the winning team when it would vote.
The winning team vote for the worst player. Isn't it?
Yeah. So we do it. We do 3 teams. The winning team, the losing team, has to go off, and then the team that come first and second, they're like the judge and jury. Yeah. And then the team that lost have to present themselves individually and say why they think
why they shouldn't be.
So then they start turning on each other and go, well, I did my job and don't know what he was thinking. And then they start.
I scored 2, but Jerome was terrible. They
start hammering each other and throwing each other under the bus. And then no one will give it to my skipper because my skipper has it. He'll start putting fish in it and stuff. So it'll be stinking. So they're like, I can't give it to Gaz because he'll just destroy it. He'll cover it in eggs and stuff like that. So they're just like, it's very political. But so the session itself, going back, is a warm-up, extended warm-up, technical stuff, then in the tactical stuff. And I always say to him, look, just give me 25 minutes of focus. I know you've been at work all day, or it's been a long day, whatever it may be. Just give me 25 minutes of focus. I won't overload you, but I need you to know this detail. And they're really respectful of that, and they know that straight after that, we're into the 5-0s.
What do you say has been your best coach, Dave?
I think the best coach I worked with, I think, was with Wales, and a guy called Ossian Roberts, who he was involved in the Gary Speed setup, and he was involved under Chris Coleman, and he went with Patrick Vieira to Crystal Palace as his number 2. Does a lot of the FAW. He was like elite. The sessions he would put together,
just because you hadn't done them sessions before.
It's the meaning of the session. So with Wales, you've got so long to prep for the game, so you had a lot of time. But we'd be straight from the very first day of training. We're training towards the opposition. So it used to be a bit of a nightmare because they would always pretty much, especially under Chris Coleman, they would name the team on pretty much the first or second day of the camp because they wanted to get that prep in.
Yeah.
So if you're not in it, you're straight away thinking, "Fucking, that's gonna be a long week." This is. Do you know what I mean? But they had a great way of getting everyone involved. But the sessions he would put on that then would translate to the game, which is a very hard thing to do. Do you know what I mean? You can put on a training session as a coach, and it'd be a good session, a good laugh, but to actually see that then play out in the game in the way you want it to is a different level. And all of his sessions, I used to think, did that, and he was unbelievable at. As a manager point of view, Yap Stam was incredible.
Yeah, you said about
some of his tactics and his patterns of play were just out of this world. Nuno at Wolves, his game plans. Very, and he was very hands on. So he would do all the session. He would take. So on the perhaps Thursday, Friday, we'd go in, watch videos. This is 3 ways how we're going to hurt the opposition. These are 2 or 3 ways how they'll hurt us. He'll go out, put the sessions on, work on it, and more often than not, I know I was only there for a couple of months in Nuno, but yeah, he was very good.
I think it's hard being an international manager, isn't it? Because all those lads are coming to put a good session on, because all them lads are coming with some top coaches, and you've got to like prove yourself, because lads love a whinge about a session, don't they? I mean, I used to proper whinge. Like if
it wasn't something I liked,
if we were doing something, if it wasn't 5-a-side, I'd be having a whinge anyway. If we're doing one touch or two.
Shrewsbury Harriers, are we?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. Or if we were doing, we used to do one touch, something. You used to do 1 touch or 2 touch. You still do that, Gav, now, 1 touch and 2 touch.
Yeah, the lads do it between themselves, to be fair. They do the circle at the start of the training.
Yeah, but we'll do that like in a little like 6-a-side and do 1 2 touch. I'll be going, well, this is good, isn't it? This is great for me, this is. I tell you now, I'm not going to be playing 2 touch on the Saturday. When I get it, I'm dribbling. So this is pointless. This is great, isn't it? This is a great session. This is going really well. It's like a nightmare. It's hard, isn't it? Imagine if you're an international coach, and you've got people who've come from all these top teams. Suddenly you've got like Ryan Giggs joining up with the Wales squad, and you've got all Man United's coach and stuff. You've got to put on. It's hard to put on a decent session.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something relative as well. Otherwise, you can lose the lads, can't you? So, like you say, it's got to be like loads of the ball, high energy, high tempo. Because the lads, you will lose the lads if it's like dreary, and I think that's where it's hard for coaches. Because if you're not, I honestly believe preparation's the biggest thing. Like as a coach, of course you've got a plan and you've got to make sure you're doing the right sessions applicable to what you're doing on a match day. But I think preparation, if you haven't got that fluency, if you're busy going, we need to get, I forgot we need to get the bibs for this part of the session and we need to do that. Yeah. Lads are stood around going, what are we doing here? And like, to be fair to Jay will set everything and we just flow. Everything flows. We don't have any of this standing around because that's when you got the lads going, drinks breaks are brilliant. Like, grab yourself a drink, well done, grab yourself a drink. Yeah. We're like going, everything sorted, you're on, like ready to go.
Because it's preparation, it's like teaching, it's like anything, isn't it?
That.
The lads will never know. Like if like, it's funny, last night we we're talking about again, our high speed running. So we were saying like, I want the pitch to be bigger at maximum. Like it'll be a bit of an unrealistic area, but I want the pitch to be bigger. So Jay was like, right, no problem. I said, and then we'll bring it smaller. And he went, don't you want to go smaller to go bigger? I went, no, because the lads will think that we haven't got the dimensions of the pitch right. So they'll think that we've got something wrong, so we'll go bigger. So let's do it bigger to go smaller. And he was like, oh yeah. So it's little details like that. You're like, I don't want the lads thinking that we've not got the dimensions right. We need to be on it. So we went bigger.
Lose faith in
I feel the most important thing for a coach is having that presence when they're delivering a session. I think all the coaches you work under, the best ones, are so confident in their delivery. Do you know what I mean? In front of, like, say, Wales, for instance, with the players we had, even every team you play, if you get a coach who's nervous and their voice is a little bit shaky and they're a little bit unsure, straight away, it sounds horrible. A lot of the respect's gone, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it shouldn't be like that. But then you get someone who's there and he's very authoritative. We're doing this, speaks with a real stern voice. I think you get that respect straight away.
That's in anything, isn't it? You go and watch someone speaking, and you give someone giving a talk, or you you get that in lessons in teaching, or you go and watch somebody doing a presentation. If they're a bit nervous, not, you're better off, even if it's nonsense, just owning it.
Yeah.
You come across like this is the absolute best way to do it.
Oh, that's happened a few times. A couple of times you think, shit, like, and then you go, good, well done. Good. Right, grab yourself a drink.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Spot on. Get yourself a drink. That's perfect.
But honestly, I would say that delivery, that tone of voice is so important to being a good coach.
Huge. Yeah. Just constant commentary. Well done. Yeah. Like, into the next thing.
And enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Enthusiastic. Do you know what I mean? Bubbly.
We do a session. I like it. It's like in the final 2 phases of the game. And we call it wave patterns. So it's like in possession. It's unopposed. It's brilliant because it's unopposed, so there's no injury. It's high tempo. You've got like waves of players. So we'll play a back 3 for the majority. So we'll have a back 3 in, but then I'll have 2 as my right wing backs, 2 as my left wing backs, and different colour bibs. 2 8s, another 2 8s, 2 10s, two strikers there, 2 strikers, so 4 strikers, and then just got different colour bibs on. And then it's like they work to the patterns that we want to play. Then they get the finish. Then it's another ball comes in from the other goalkeeper. It's a finish, and then it's a counter press for the whistle, and it's just high, good, well done, like constant. The lads love it because it's just on the ball, back foot out the other way, playing the patterns, high tempo, recovery runs, clear the decks, next one's on. Then you put a defender in there. Then it's like crossing and finishing in there as well, and it just you start to develop it in bigger, and the lads just love it because it's like you say, high energy, high enthusiasm, high tempo.
That's so important after a loss as well. You come in on a Monday morning, you feel shitty. You just got busy, and you got to get the lads going again, haven't you?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Who's been your best coach, then, Gav? Not life coach, obviously. That's me.
You, of course.
Football coach.
Aiston and co-coaching.
Think of football.
I read something on Twitter the other day. Someone out of us in it.
Asking for
Aiston and co life coaching.
I think it's going to take off. I've had a lot of
a friend of mine.
I got to find what it said.
A friend of mine.
All the teachers at work. Obviously, I say tell them all at work, don't I? How I'm more than just their leader. I'm like their life coach and that, and they're all laughing. But I was like, I thought it was quite amusing. I don't know why. It's funny that you're laughing about it, but it's serious. What was
it? That one?
I can't.
Go on, put it up.
Is it slagging us off?
I'll keep looking. It just says your life must be in some sort of a mess if you're going to reach out.
Yeah. How bad does it have to get to reach out? Simon, wasn't it?
It was along those lines.
My friend Simon put it up. Absolutely killed us.
It's a little bit rude, Simon.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cry for help.
Amazing guy he is.
Sounds like a cry for help for me. That does. Simon. I'll be in touch.
He's besides the photographer, friend of mine that came to the event, and he was like, just a quick question: how bad does your life have to get to turn to Aiston and Co life coaching?
I get it. It's a cry for help. I totally understand.
I'll send his number. I'll send your number over.
Whether you want to reach out to me, it's absolutely fine.
We know the lead. So best coach. I've had some really, really good ones. I think.
Gives you best.
I would say there's a few of them in there, and for different reasons. But Rob Edwards was excellent. Like really, really good. Took loads from Rob.
Hence he's in the
was really good working under him.
Like him as well, David.
Yeah.
He was Rob was really good actually because Rob was the manager. Sean Pash was the assistant, and I was the first team coach. And what was brilliant about Rob is he's like egoless. He's like absolute class act. So he can make. Sometimes you go in and you're the first team coach, and you might pick up a few cones and drop a few cones, and then next session you feel like you're the manager because he just gives you ownership, and he's like, go and do this, go and do that, make sure you're on this. He's
hours of it.
Yeah, so he led in early, and then he gives you like a little bit of room to work, which is brilliant. Marcus Bignett, incredible on the grass, like literally brain works overtime. You could give him the most basic session, and he could develop it into anything. He could develop it.
Who did Shrewsbury at the moment?
Yeah. He could develop it into anything. If you give him the most basic keep ball session, in 10 seconds he could develop it into anything. But
develop Shrewsbury to score in a few.
Yeah, they will, mate. They will. Give them time. Give them time. They're coming. Don't worry.
He hasn't got that much time.
But with Marcus, he's very controlling. So it was a privilege for him, because I was his first team coach. He gave me an opportunity. He probably trusted me more so than others, but was really controlling. Really was like, knows what he sees, knows what he likes, and he's going to do it. But I think, do you know what? In the circumstance at the time, in the era, I can't go far past Mick Wadsworth. I thought Mick Wadsworth, I know he wasn't a likeable character to a lot of people, but I thought at the time his coaching was like incredibly innovative, way beyond anyone I'd ever played under.
So any listeners who don't know, Mickey was Shrewsbury's assistant manager, was at Newcastle previously, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
with Shearer.
He was under Bobby Robson when he was good friends with Bobby Wright, worked under him. But I just think at the time, I got on really well with Mick, which was rare because I don't think a lot of the lads liked him, but I had a bit of banter with him. He killed me later on, that's another story. But actually, the sessions that he did, like, I was blown away by. I used to think to myself, this is brilliant. You know what we were speaking about? Enthusiasm, high tempo, fluency.
Authority.
I used to just think, flipping heck, like, he is quality. And I don't know what I think now, looking back at them sessions, because obviously you know a lot more, don't you? But at the time, I just remember being bowled over by his coaching. I thought he was really good.
Anyone who you didn't think was good? I do not want to name them.
Oh, played under some absolute right characters. Rob Smith at Telford was quality.
When you say quality, you don't mean quality.
Quality as in, like,
funny, hilarious.
Yeah, Rob was a man manager. Very particular taste in his man management as well. I had one way. Rob is very endearing, but says what he thinks in his brain, but his brain's like mush. So when he does his coaching, I remember we were all stood one pre-season, we all stood on this line. You know that horrible feeling you're running.
Yeah, horrible.
But we stood there, and it's like, sometimes if you're doing the bleep test, you can see it coming, so you prepare yourself. If you're doing, I don't know, shuttle runs, whatever it may be, you know what's coming. We just stood in a field. I think it was over at Wrekin College, and we stood there, and like in the distance, it was just like grass, and then in the distance, it must have been about, I don't know, 150 trees. And he just went, he put the whistle to his mouth, so we're all sort of at red alert, like alert dogs, like he's pulled a tennis ball out of his pocket, and he's just gone, run to that tree. So everyone started running, and I just stood there. So everyone's running, but as everyone was running, they're running as if to go, like, where am I going? Yeah, they're all running in different directions. And he went, run. And I went, fucking, what tree? And he went, oh, fuck, you've always got something to say, just run. And I was like, so I just started running, and we all just went to different trees and then come back. And then he used to do another one that was brilliant, go on the pitch, and you'd just be stood there with like a random bib on, and he'd just kick the ball and go, get after it. So the lads would be, what? Get after it. And you'd be like, get after what? So the lads would all just be kicking the shit out of each other. Like, no one knows who's on what team. We don't know what the outcome is. Have we got to get into an area? Have we got to break out to another? Is there a goal anywhere? Like, what are we doing? So he was brilliant, but he was just, Rob was just absolutely quality for team camaraderie. He did do one brilliant session. It was always fun, where you'd have two teams, one behind the goal, and you'd have a team in 2 minutes. You've got to score as many as your goals, and it was like a cross, and you've got to do a diving header, or you've got to control it in the D outside the box, and then the team behind, if they catch your ball, they've got
all kinds of head injuries.
Yeah, all sorts. But it was brilliant. Like, we had a great time under Rob. But in terms of the sessions, he had Wynne was his first team coach. Rob would openly say that's not his part of management, you know.
And those days are gone now, because one big thing when you're asking Gav about what today's sessions look like, everything is based on your load. How far you run, how far you run at high intensity. So sessions will get caught, will get stopped. They might come out and say, Edo's done enough now, he needs to come in. Yeah. You'll be pulled out of the session. Because everything's live, monitored.
You measure how far you've run.
Before a session, you'll go in and do a video meeting of what you're doing in the session. So everything's planned out. Whereas before, you go out and you're just hoping it's a good session, aren't you? You don't know when it's going to be finished. Is there going to be another part and things like that? Whereas you're told before you go out, this is what we're going to do. And it's like planning, you're going to do warm-ups, like little passes, whatever. But there'll be running specific in there to make sure you get that high speed running that Gav talks about, which is injury prevention running. But then people will get pulled out if they've done too much.
So you should be expected to cover whatever it is, like 5K.
And you get top-ups at the end. So you can't go... So say if you come out in the session and you were trying to take it easy because you'd had a skim from like before, at the end of the session, you wouldn't have hit your numbers, so you'd be out there doing more.
I'd still be there now.
I had a couple of lads last night that we had to pull because obviously they're high because of the nature of the session. Their high intensity running was just like, right, so we just see that and we're like, right, you got to come out because especially like we literally have had a month worth of injuries of just nightmare, like niggles, lads playing at 85%, just flipping hard work.
You need to start managing their load.
I know, yeah.
Well, as GPSs started coming in, lads used to hate it.
Yeah.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because
Dave
I used
loved
to
it.
just run around for fun anyway. All of a sudden I was getting pulled out of sessions. Dave needs to do a little bit.
I'd have been doing that. Mine won't sync, Gaffer. It won't sync with my phone. It won't sync.
Dave's not getting the yellow jersey. I've just done 8K there. I've done 4K. Get him the yellow jersey.
But the worst one is, as I got later into my career, probably more at Shrewsbury, even when I was at Bala, we had GPS stuff. You get your stats after a game. Bala, so you'd have your total distance, which would be for a game, for instance, 12K for a midfielder for me. High speed running would be sort of, so this is what you would say probably a 3/4 stride. Yeah. Mine would be about anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500. Then it'd have sprint distance, but it's measured on like.
These are the three that we focus on.
But it's nothing to do with like what my sprint is. Do you know what I mean? There's a set number you have to hit, and my sprint distance would be like 3 meters or 0 meters. And I was like, surely not. Like,
is mine working? Can someone check this? Can someone check this?
But I never ever hit the threshold of a sprint, even though I was running around like mad.
Probably if they were about when I was around, I would have hit any threshold in them three. I'd have been in all sorts of trouble. What about you then, Sam? Coaches that you've worked under?
I don't know, because I was like a slightly different era, wasn't I? So there wasn't. I wouldn't say I ever got masses amount of coaching. Who did I write down there? John Gorman.
John Gorman, you said, didn't you?
John Gorman, I thought was really good. John Gorman. I mean, he was with. I watched the Beckham thing. We know when England drew with Italy 0-0, and Glenn Hoddle was the manager. John Gorman was his assistant. So I mean, some of the
he's got a great reputation.
Yeah, he was. I loved him. But he used to come, and he would get like me, Chris Doig, Ian Taylor, the other lads I can't remember. Like there was a few good lads, like decent players, like Luke Chambers. Couple of other lads, and he'd be like, "Oh, we're doing this session with us, like where he'd be pinging the balls around, keeping the ball up and that." And he'd be like, "Come on, lads!" Obviously, the ball to everybody. I'd be like, "I do this with England, Becks and Skulls. You love that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a little bit different when it's me and Chamber trying to do it, isn't it?" It's not quite the same. I thought he was an excellent coach. I like Dean Saunders, and not the way to talk about high energy,
enthusiastic.
Enthusiasm was incredible. He's be the most enthusiastic manager I've ever had.
Did he join in a lot? Because it's another conversation. Managers which joined in.
Yeah, he loved it, didn't he? But come on, wrap it in. But everything had to be into the centre forward. I think I might mention this before.
Yeah.
So every time I was left wing, every time he just wanted me, he said, turn around the corner to the centre forward, pass to the centre forward, and I'd be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep turning it around the corner.
You literally want to go back for dribble and drive.
Best if I can just run past the right back, why am I turning it into him and then follow him into space, into the crowds? I'd be like...
I always used to find it awkward when a manager trained. I never used to like it. Mick only ever did it once. I've told the story. He was on a pre-season session and the ball went out and the physio was just aimlessly walking around the pitch and he shouted out as Mick went past it and Mick lost his head and volleyed the ball at him. That's the only ever time that's
quality.
Then you had other managers who did it. I said about how good Yap Stam was when he used to join in training. He was like a joke. Dino used to do it all the time. Again, unbelievable. Like his finishing was ridiculous. Paul Lambert was he was one of my most favourite managers, Paul Lambert was. But he used to join in training and he used to just kill it because we do like a rondo, which is a circle. So 2 in the middle, the rest around the outside. And he would join in, but he was never allowed to go in the middle. So if he gave the ball away, the person who passed it to him had to go in. So he'd stitch people up. And he'd also join in on that Friday session where you do the 2 teams.
You always did that, the managers, didn't they?
And it's obviously the worst player. So we'd always do old v young, and I was like one of the older boys then. So we'd obviously be on so we'd always be on the old team. But he would stand out on the right wing and do absolutely nothing. Every time I come to him, try and flick it round the corner.
But you still never lost, though. Somehow your team never lost.
No, we always used to lose, but then again, he couldn't get chosen, so he would kind of stitch us up in both ends. But he used to join in. He was good. Who else was there? Probably the best one was Dina, but it used to put you on edge. You didn't even like going to tackles and that. You didn't want to.
Peter Reid.
Tackle and
Peter
stuff
Reid
like
used
that.
to lose his head. Like, didn't I tell you Peter Reid trying to do Alex Ray in training and that because Alex Ray has gone past him and stuff. And you'd be like, Gaffer, you're too temperamental to join in training, and you're too slow now. You're not very good. Which is we get a bit older, you're not as good, obviously. and you just get frustrated and they start having to go at young lads and that. Like, pass them the ball and be like half a yard in front of him. What are you doing, Sam? Rubbish, pass the ball properly. I'd be like, oh, okay, Gaffer. Soz, Gaffer.
Sorry, Gaffer.
You're going, is he going to get off the pitch that old?
My mate Scott Rickards was at, when he was at Kidderminster under Jan Mulby, and he said like he was the size of a house, but he used to join in on a Friday, and he said he literally was the best player by a country mile.
He would be,
and like, I remember saying to him, like, is that a bit of an old wives' tale? Are you sort of saying that because of the romance of Jan Mulby? He was like, honestly, Gav, you've never seen anything like it. This guy's touch, can't get near him. Like, I was like, couldn't move though. He went, oh no, he didn't move. He just stood there and everything bounced off him.
There must be a real urge to. I can imagine if I was coaching or managing, I'd want to get involved all the time. I'd be all over it.
Yeah, I do. If the numbers aren't right, I'll always get involved. Yeah, I do love it.
Love that.
Yeah.
The lads kick the shit out of me though.
Yeah.
And I think
move the ball quicker.
It's mad because I think so. Yeah. Do you know what? I've got to move the ball quicker. You're right. That session I was telling you about wave patterns, I have different starting positions. So I'll drill it into the keeper to throw out to the back three, or I'll throw it into the centre arse to head to get like a second ball. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll just bounce it on the floor and then go, like, we're playing and they've got to get it off me. So we have like a little bit of a rough and tumble just to make it sort of realistic, like they've had a bit of a midfield scrap and they come away with it. Fuck it, I did it the other day, and literally I had Alfie Bates and Shetmer and Benzie, and like my finger there. See where that's swollen? That's been like 3 weeks. I think Alfie broke my finger, and Shep's like absolutely raked down my like. And I was like, lads, you all right? And they were like going, yeah, why? They don't even know they're doing it. Just they're in the zone so much. They absolutely kick the shit. I came back and Holly went, you all right? I went, not really. Trying to get in the bed, like all a bit sore and that. Do you know what I mean? Like getting the bath on and the salts in and stuff. Going, oh, my finger's killing me.
You need to see Gal's finger. So if you're not subscribed to YouTube, make sure you have a look at that.
Yeah.
It is like,
you'll
show it to camera. Make sure you look at.
Make sure you balloon finger. I've got that finger.
Got quite fat fingers anyway.
That finger. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
He's in the top 10 percentile for fat fingers.
Yeah.
I think the top is actually.
Well, I was when I was 10.
Yeah. And quick one with Nigel Clough as well. I think I might told you. I don't know if I told you this one. Nigel Clough. I always thought you think he'd be the technical player. When I was on loan at Burton with him. I remember one session, he stood there and he's like, 10 yards away, he goes, throw the ball at my chest. Like, obviously, that's like throw the ball, like two-handed, like a netball pass. Yeah. And he's like, no, throw the ball at my chest. So in the end, like, he was throwing the ball at his chest, and he's gone, right, I'm going in goal. So all of us are on the 80-yard line, about 20 lads, and he's like, smack it at me as hard as you can. So we're just leathering the ball as hard as you can, and he's just letting it hit his chest all the time. Then he was like, put the other lads in goal, and that was his session.
What was the point?
Well,
to control
I think
the
it was
ball,
probably
to stop
Nigel
goals?
maybe trying to show us how
Strong his chest was. Yeah.
But I just thought that's bizarre. And also Nigel Clough, I thought was like a ball player. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
I was speaking to my mate the other day. It's funny about all of that. They were saying about because Graham Wesley's supposed to be a bit of a card, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right? And he's but I think he's been on a podcast recently just to debunk a couple of the theories. Like he's like a bit crazy.
Which podcasts?
Just one of the lesser ones, I think. Yeah.
I bet that's not UK top 10 and world's number 1.
Yeah. No, I agree. But apparently he went on there and they were saying like they'd had a guest on previously who was talking about how, oh yeah, Graham Wesley's a nutter. He'd get you in the corridor and he'd be like, go on, try and get past me, which is obviously quite funny. And I think he went on the podcast and just like, needs to put it into a bit of context. Like, when it was on a game day and when we were like, yeah, I would say to him, because I used to think, and he said, he would say like things like Alex Ferguson used to do it, or he's learned it off other people. Yeah. He says, not just me, I'm not an idiot. He said, like, I'm a bit crazy, but it's like there's a method behind the madness. And he'd say, like, I'd go to him, like, if you can't get past me, how are you going to get past them at set pieces and stuff? And I get that a little. It's a bit quirky. It's a little bit crazy. I get it, but I do understand it a little bit. You've got to get something out of your players, haven't you?
On some of these podcasts, though, like obviously they exaggerate these stories, don't they? I think everybody exaggerates them a little bit, which is fair enough because you make them more interesting. But you sort of people get these reputation. Like, I don't know whether everybody's all that they're made out to be.
Nah, I agree.
I think on here, there's a lot of our podcast, we're authentic. We've never said anything that's not true.
Not that I can think of. Even the GP stories. Even the Gary Peters stories are pretty spot on. There's no exaggeration there. The neck's no exaggeration, is it?
It's jogged my memory. You were saying about Brian Clough getting the ball volleyed at him. at Wolves again, Mick McCarthy. We were going for a bit of a bad patch. Didn't think we were defending with enough sort of heart and not putting the bodies on the line. And he lined the back four up in the goal. Says you're not allowed to use your hands, and he was just lashing balls and said you've got to keep it out. So lads are diving across the goal their chest. Kevin Foley actually done his medial trying to block one. He missed 2 or 3 games off the back of it, but that was just more that I can do all the coaching in the world. But you've got to have a little bit of balls. You've got to have a bit of desire. You've got to be willing to put yourself in front of a shot.
And I've done my quad at Shrewsbury because GP was like, you have to stick it in the corners. You get it out your feet. And it was the week after he sent me in because I kept dropping the ball into Mark Stallard's chest. And he was like, stop, stand still. What are you doing? Stick it in the channel. And I was like, Stall's literally there. There's no one in the channel, gaffer. Like, we can play off him. Like, that's what he does, wasn't it? You know, Mark Stallard, brilliant. So he went, start again, ball comes out to me. And I just couldn't do it. So I dropped it into Stall again and he was like, get in. So I was just like, right. We had obviously words effing and blinding at him and he's doing the same back. And a week later, he was like, right, back 4, just going to stick it in the corners. And like, I pulled my quad just because like we were there, we must have been there for about an hour, just getting out of our feet, sticking it in there. And I'd done my quad and I was like, I'm not going to be able to play Saturday, gaffer. And he's like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I was going, no, don't think you understand. Like, Rach, I can't kick the ball. And he's going, you'll be fine. You'll be fine being a drama queen. I'm going, no, I pulled my quad, gaffer. Like,
he was funny.
That's a true story, though. Do you know what I mean? There's no exaggeration there.
He came into me at like we'd finished training, coming at lunch, like, Dave, I want to do some work with you afterwards. I'm thinking, take me under his wing here, wants to do a little bit extra, kind of finesse.
Get me on the half turn
definitely.
And all that.
Went out, bag of balls. I think I must have told you before, centre circle. And he was chucking the ball up in the air, bouncing, and he wanted me to hook it over my head and try to land it in between the box and the touchline, that corner bit of the pitch. And I was out there for about an hour, mate. I must have hit 50 or 60 balls, and he would just chuck it over my head, and I'd have to volley it as hard as I could back over my head the other way and try and not land it in the box so the keeper can get it, but land it outside.
I remember it as I was driving out of the car park on the way to the Bellstone.
I don't think Pep Guardiola's doing that.
I'll be half an hour.
Don't worry, lads.
I'll get you drinking.
Smashing it in the corner.
Yeah.
When's this episode going out? Tuesday, so Wednesday today. So at the moment, we're just ahead of England played last night in football.
Yeah.
This weekend we've got the rugby, haven't we? A quick question. This is for Dave. Dave, why is there loads of people in Shrewsbury who support England football team and Wales rugby team? Because on my Facebook there's loads of them and it's really annoying me.
This is new to me tonight.
Can you enlighten me why that is?
No, I can't enlighten you, but it's a very common thing. You do get, I don't know what it is.
Is it like
listeners?
Is it family? Is it like might have a grandparent who's?
It is, but
but why would you support England football team?
No, I wouldn't. I'm in the same as you. I'm asking the question.
My best mate is like that.
He does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we get him on the podcast?
I think so. So his reason is his granddad's Welsh, and
can we do an interview with him?
His granddad was all in on
Ask
rugby,
the question.
and they used to watch rugby together. And so he used to watch Wales with his granddad, but then his granddad wasn't into football or anything, and he's more English than Welsh.
Are you sort of saying then, Sam, you've got to make a choice?
Well, I don't get it. Do you? Like, if you support England, I support England in all sports because I'm English. Like, I don't support. I'll tell you.
If your granddad was Ugandan,
I'm going to go England in the football. I'm going to go Wales in the rugby. I'm going to go Canada in the ice hockey. I'm going to go Australia in the cricket. Like, you just support England, don't you? You can't pick and choose.
I agree.
It's not like you choose where.
Right, Crossy, can we do an interview with Dave's Bezzy?
Can we get him in next week?
Can we just see how amazing it is that all the Welsh and Irish rugby fans thought that they were going to do really well in the Rugby World Cup, and they were all
Wales fans did it.
He loves this one. Sam loves this one. Winding people up.
Ireland did, but Wales did.
Because obviously in Newcastle we've got loads of Scottish fans, so that's brilliant. So then I moved to Shrewsbury, and there's just like loads of like Welsh fans everywhere. Even everybody who's English, who likes England football team, seem to support Wales in the rugby, which again blows me mind. Then I've got my Irish friends who are like want to try and fight me every time they watch Braveheart and stuff like that. And so we've got them. So we've got all the English, all the Irish.
Braveheart Scottish.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
No, but there's an Irish fella, isn't there? Braveheart.
Right, yeah.
And so I remember going.
That was Robin Hood, wasn't it? The Irish.
Going to watch it, and I remember my Irish friend come out. Who I was living with in Diggers. So he come out. And he's like, "You should be ashamed of yourself." And I was like, "Well, because of Braveheart, because of the film." And he's like, "Yep, you should be ashamed of it being English." So I was like, And what I can't stand is why on earth do the English, we have to pretend that we support Scotland, Wales and Ireland when they absolutely despise us in all sports. I loved the rugby in the quarterfinals. I was delighted South Africa beat France. I was delighted Wales lost. I was delighted Ireland lost. Brilliant. England once again flying the flag with the Southern Hemisphere teams. Good.
The biggest nation in the UK, is that what you're saying?
The biggest nation. And England could end up doing a cricket, rugby, double.
Struggling in the cricket.
Still, yeah, they won't do a double. They get beaten in the semi-final in the rugby, but they've got further, and it's just funny, isn't it, again?
It's a vicious circle for me.
How horrible all the messages I get off all my Welsh, Scottish and Irish friends every time England lose.
Anyway, let's get back onto the football. Scotland qualified. Wales resurrected.
Wow.
How did Wales get on?
Great effort.
What happened? I don't know what happened.
Beat Croatia.
Yeah,
3-1.
great result. Yeah.
So they're right back in the mix. It's in their own hands now. 2 games to play. Armenia away, Turkey at home. Back in their own hands to qualify.
Yeah. Tough game.
This will
Armenia
be
away.
an unbelievable Euros to go to. I know, like 2016 in France, just sort of not far away, was amazing. Then you've had the sort of COVID one and the World Cup in Qatar. Whereas this is in Germany. What a place for
You played in
fans
the
to
Euros,
go.
Dave.
I don't want to talk about it.
Dave, I'm pleased. You're pleased. Wales won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pleased. You're pleased.
Oh, thank you.
I'm only pleased because of you.
Really,
I'll be honest.
I've got a Croatia scarf in the car. That was a bit disappointing.
We'll go like if
You
Wales.
got Davos
Hold on,
Sukkot.
we've
Is
got
there-
Poland.
No, if Wales can get
Get
into it,
there.
and England are in it, and Scotland are in it,
We're
we've got to
going.
get across, haven't we?
Oh,
I'm sure there'll be
Obviously.
there'll be like
Dave,
sponsors
if
who
you
want to
get
take us across.
Dave,
Yeah.
if you get us tickets for a
Foxes.
Wales game in the Euros, I'll wear a Wales scarf and we'll edit this bit when I say I don't like it.
yeah.
We'll edit this bit.
We've got to do that.
So
if England, forget Scotland, if England and Wales get there, we've got to go across, haven't we?
Definitely.
If England get knocked
Will you
out,
wear a
would
Wales
you cheer
shirt?
on for Wales?
Oh,
Gav.
what?
Would you cheer for Wales or Scotland or Ireland if England weren't in it?
For Dave, for the Welsh, I would.
It's weak.
If I can get Wales tickets for the Euros, you'll wear a Wales shirt.
100% mate.
Yeah. Do a meet and greet with Gareth Bale. Yeah, mate, I'm there.
Welsh flag and paint on
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Talking to the Welsh players and that. I'm going, Sam, why are you putting that accent
Yeah.
on?
I was going to try and do it there, but I don't know whether.
Go on, see if you can do it. All right, bud.
All right, bud.
Spud.
Never known anyone to do worse accents than him.
But you can talk about England qualified as well.
Yeah, class that. Beating Italy. What about Jude Bellingham?
Oh my gosh.
Who's better than him in the world at the moment? Centre mid.
I think all
Be
players.
all right,
I think all players.
20 years old playing in a 10 for Real Madrid and running the
And he's
national.
flying, isn't
And
he?
dragging England through that game. They're 1-0 down. If it wasn't for him, I know Kane scores 2, and they're full of unbelievable players.
Yeah,
but
unbelievable
he was the one who dragged them through it.
I
wasn't it?
felt that.
Got absolutely everything, and like the dynamism in today's game, that athleticism and dynamism. to be able
Second goal
to
when he's
like
driven
run
through the midfield like that. Like, you don't see that a lot.
It's the
do you?
modern midfielder, though, isn't it? You know, you
Then
get it.
the one goal where it's played into him, he's like in the pocket, bodies around him. I think Declan Rice fires it into him, but he's already seen the pass. He's played it off one touch to Kane, gone again, and he got the penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, you see
But
it
that
early,
awareness. Oh,
Basically, England nailed on to win the Euros.
they should like you look at that team. You look at that
Incredible.
front six is
When-
absolutely
crazy.
sensational.
Yeah. And then you go in, Saka's coming into that.
Yeah.
Grealish,
View sub. Yeah, wasn't he?
yeah, came
Amazing.
on. For me, I think Foden's a genius. Like, I'm the first one.
You play him, though?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for me. Do you know what? With Foden, my opinion on him is he's that type of player that's very what I call romantic. He'll do something, but ordinarily they'll lack productivity. And I think everything he does is positive. And then I cannot catch my breath how good he is out of possession. I think he's complete. Even like with his stature, he's obviously not the biggest lad,
Numbers
is he?
as well, goals and assists.
I just think he's scary. I think in the next couple of years, him and Bellingham, I think he'll be with Bellingham. I think he'll be that good.
I know it's probably not the time for this podcast, but just off the back of that, what would you play as England's front six, if you like? So striker, 2 wingers, and a midfield 3. So you got some nailed on ones. And you got Declan Rice, Bellingham, Kane.
Yeah, I'd be a 4-2-3-1, me, and I'd
holders.
Bellingham, Kane,
Saka plays.
Bellingham, Kane, Saka on the right,
Yeah.
and then for me, Foden.
Rashford, Foden.
Yeah, Rashford.
Yeah,
I
I think
like it.
Rashford more impact.
Yeah.
I think come on, I think he
And
could
just
be more
someone-
impact.
That needs to be another
Yeah,
podcast.
someone
But
to play alongside
Before
Rice.
the Euro final, England, whoever they're playing, will name the team.
Yeah, someone to play alongside Shetmer and Benzi could play alongside Rice.
Yeah.
Easy.
Nice.
We've had we answered any questions now. We haven't really got time, have we? Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for your questions, but we haven't got time.
Go on, we've got to do one.
Yeah.
Go on. What was?
Who's got the
Emily got a
questions?
question for us.
We've got some questions here.
Well, we finished this brandy off, Sam. What do you think about this brandy, Sam?
It's a nice little drop. Is
For the winter?
Is it any? Is this in the stiffs in general, or is this for Aiston life coaching? I could branch off and do my own little podcast.
Yeah, easy, mate. Dave's done it, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He's done it with...
do you want to give a little plug?
Yeah, go on, Dave.
Have you plugged in your golf thing? Have you plugged us in the stiffs?
Yeah.
Must have done.
he hasn't.
Must have done.
That was it.
Go on then, tell us about it, Dave. Half free.
Yeah, well, we've been out filming today with Stephen Fletcher, and he wants to come on the podcast.
Brilliant.
After asking for us.
A lot of people want to come on, Dave. It's whether
Let me have a look, Dave. I'll come back to you on that.
So we filmed with Stephen Fletcher today at Carden Park.
It used to be great in centre mid for Man U. We'll take that bit out. I'll take that bit out.
My old teammate, Wolf, striker, Scottish international, now signed for Wrexham. But obviously, we spoke to Barney about how big it is. So he had the Wrexham documentary. They've been filming him today. So he was at the garden centre this morning.
Was that the Disney lot?
Yeah, the Disney lot. So he was at the garden centre with his missus and kids this morning. Then they came to film him playing golf as well. And the guy on the video was asking me about the podcast, saying he listens to it.
Yes.
And said, and I thought...
Works for Disney.
I thought he's maybe looked at my profile and saw it, but he says, absolutely loved the episode on Heroes. And that was about 2 or 3 ago.
Hey, of course he does.
Heroes.
I thought he's filming for Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. He's listening to In the Stiffs.
Yeah.
We need Ryan Reynolds listening.
Give him a shout out. Dave, wasn't it?
What's his name?
Disney guy.
Disney guy. Dave's not interested.
Disney guy.
No, Dave. It was Dave.
Imagine if we got Ryan Reynolds or I like that Rob McElhenney idea.
Yeah, he's class, isn't he?
Yeah, it's good.
Like him.
Proper buzzing for it, isn't he?
Barney, Fletch, try and get
Get
Rob
him on.
McElhenney on. It's only down the road, isn't it?
Yeah. He'll have a laugh. Plug the...
We could go meet him at Oswestry again, couldn't we, if we need be?
Yeah, of course we could, yeah.
Give us a question, Crossy. What?
Yeah, the Sweden.
The best, worst rumour you've heard about yourself.
Oh,
The best, worst rumour you've heard about yourself.
Agent Shrewsbury on Instagram.
My two are both when I was young at Shrewsbury. And the best rumour was that Man United are interested in Shrewsbury Starlet. I remember it in the paper.
Was it?
Don't know who put that in there. There was no truth to it at all.
Yeah, but it's good. Thing is, if you get
My mum's cut it out.
Yeah, but if you get that going again, fake it till you make it again, isn't it? It's like
So don't put.
Man, you interested in you? We're UK's #1 sports podcast.
Yeah.
And then the worst one was in it used to be Barmed, where Monty's Tower is now. There's a rumour going around that I was at the back of the queue and I shouted up to the barmaid, "Do you not know who I am?"
Why did you...
I know you, Dave. You
Dave.
definitely did that.
Why did you do that, Dave? This is your chance now, Dave, to explain yourself.
Is there a
Mate, I was fighting my corner for so long with just random people, and it just like spread around so quick. It's a bit like the Joe one we said about
Pathetic. Pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a footballer alive who hasn't had that?
I did it a couple of times, yeah.
I had that loads of times as well. Sam was in here going, "Do you know who I am?" I literally.
I did it a couple of times and I went, no. Why? Someone said, Steve Staunton. Steve Staunton's in the queue. I got in from being Steve Staunton and Steve McMahon about 14 times. Quality it was. Cilla Black. What was the other one?
Is anybody ginger?
Yeah, anyone. Literally just bowl up and go, "Yeah, I'm Basil Brush. Get me in."
Mick Hucknall.
Cilla Black. That's cool, man.
That's how pathetic is those rumours.
That was the best, worst rumour. They were like, Cilla Black's passed away, but she's still alive. She's in Shrewsbury. It was me. So go on, Crossy, another one. What you got for us, mate?
Well, give us another one.
What about this brandy, Sam?
Yeah, it's a nice drop, isn't it?
It is, yeah. This is
What is it?
this is it's Welsh.
Is it?
Yeah, or Scottish or Irish, I think. Nice drop that.
We've got who was the best beard in football?
Best beard.
Best beard.
I
in
certainly.
football.
That'll be Danny Newton, Brackley Town. If anyone wants to have a look, Google him. His beard.
Like Brian Blessed.
It's ridiculous. And when he runs, it's like the Red Sea for Jesus. It parts like that, and then it sort of goes over his shoulder. It's the longest thing you've ever seen. I actually asked his missus about it at the weekend, and she sort of didn't really give me a. I was like, you know, the beard. Are you in on that?
Yeah.
Like, you like that? And she just went, sort of. Yeah, she didn't really answer.
Why has he got that though? Is he quite ugly?
He's like a barber or something.
Nah,
It's quite
I think it started, and he thought I'll grow a beard, and then he's just got to a point where he's like, he's a bit like that. He's a bit rebellious. He's a bit of a
I
rebel.
remember watching what was that film called?
In a brilliant way, I mean.
What was that film called? Was it 300 where the bloke had a beard?
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
he? So I thought if I grew one of them, I might look like him, but
Yeah.
couldn't really do it. Mine's gone a bit patchy. It's a bit ginger with a little bit of grey in it.
Yeah.
Hasn't really kicked in.
My favourite was friend of the podcast, Jack Price. Solid
Yeah.
beard.
That's a good beard. That is.
Solid beard.
Yeah.
Jack Price.
Very coarse.
Yeah.
Very coarse. Very coarse. When I was
What a
like,
wonderful adjective.
when I was
Gary.
stroking his beard, very coarse. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for letting me do that, by the way.
Any more for one more for the road?
We've got from TWS Sports Podcast. Out of the
They're a good friends of ours.
Their
aren't
quality, they are.
So, out of the three of you, who has the most high-pressure job? A head teacher, a football manager, or a full-time golfer?
I can't stand them guys.
I think the question suggests that it's not Dave, doesn't it? I think they think that.
Yeah.
Right.
Depends what like.
Oh, to be honest, there's not many more jobs more pressured than a football manager,
I was
is
going
there?
to say that, yeah. Football manager.
Because he's just like,
No security.
there's no security at all. You are whatever. What is it? 6 games away from the sack ever, aren't you?
You could be
However good you're doing.
top, have a couple of defeats, and then you question yourself,
Pressure's
and then you win again, and you think, oh my god, we're going to win the Champions League, and then you're like, oh no, we're in Conference North.
It's Preston, didn't it? Preston top the league, lost 3 on the bounce, got lost 4-0, 4-2, 3-0 or something like that.
We had it. We lost a couple, but I can honestly say it was scary because the only missing link was just finishing. But that's it. So
The
literally,
outside world doesn't see that.
not
do they?
clinical. Our stats were incredible.
Yeah,
We were
see the
dominating
scores.
games, in and out of possession. Of course, opposition were having their moments. We had a poor 20 minutes in the FA Cup that saw us out. But like you go into teams and you're thinking, right, we've had 74% possession, lost 2-0. Like what? Like just can't score. We've had numerous chances, and that is why I think it's so insecure. So insecure. But like you said, Dave, I called you, didn't I? I was like, oh, flipping it. And you were like, are you getting chances? I'm like, oh, we're dominating teams. Like, just mate, it'll come, and it did.
Yeah.
It did come. Hopefully, long may it continue.
Manager of the week as well.
Manager of the week.
Oh, yeah, congratulations.
Sorry, yeah, whoa, congratulations, GC.
A lot goes into it. Staff for quality.
These buttons has got.
Yeah, go on.
Press the
Go on.
button.
Let's go for.
Not that one. No.
That's Halloween coming up.
Not that one.
Not that one.
No.
Not that one. No.
No. Yes, that's
That's
the one.
good. Listen, that. Well,
That's the one if you can hear it.
I shared that on my social media buzzing, and I
Andy?
thought, fair play, that's class. But then I got here tonight, and I was like, well done on that, mate, that's class. And you went, it wasn't manager of the month, it was manager of the week. And I was like, oh, right.
Yeah. Listen, we take
Manager-
it.
manager
It's-
of the Saturday.
Yeah, it's the staff as well. All of us, staff of the week. So we take that. Staff of the
A bit
week.
of sick in my mouth.
Hell
It's
quality.
the staff. It's not me. It's
the
the
staff.
staff. You said it was you.
It's the
You
staff.
said it was you off air.
Yeah, off air. Of course it's me. Well, whilst the world, how many people listen to this? 3 million? Like, whilst they're all listening, then 4 million.
So I would say a footballer, then head teacher.
I think it's
I don't know,
I think it's a matter of circumstance because
responsibility, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's a matter of circumstance. I think.
I think it's a safe.
I think if you it is the only thing that you've got, if you're a manager in the Championship and you're at I don't know, Rotherham, and you're not on a massive contract, you're not on anything you're going to be able to retire. Not like you could put money away.
Yeah.
And I think your contract can be over. You've got maybe you have got a 2-year deal, but you've got a 9-month contingency, which basically means they can sack you and only give you. That is where it becomes.
Dave, have you got an argument for saying it's golf? Like the difficulties of, do you use a sand wedge or a pitching wedge? Or do you order a lager or cider in the bar afterwards?
I'm going through some swing changes at the moment, which is giving me a lot of anxiety. It's giving me a lot of anxiety.
Is having difficulty with relationship with his golf coach? Life is pretty crap.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Feel for you, Dave. Feel for you, mate.
I'm working on my trail arm at the moment. And
We'll get you into Aiston and Co.
Don't tell
life
me about
coaching.
trail arm, it's a nightmare.
Aiston and Co. life coaching.
He just mentioned the trail arm, opened the right can of worms.
We're here to pick you up, Dave.
Well, thanks very much for listening, everybody. If anybody wants to get in touch, it's Aiston life coaching.
Right, can we change it? Can we like Cowan life coaching sounds a lot better.
Like,
Cowan
you
coaching.
wouldn't be very good at life
I'm
coaching.
really good at it.
Actually, think about coaching and managing. I think I'm more. It's not life coaching. I think I'm more life management.
Life
Like,
management,
not-
right?
not so
Okay.
much on the
Now you've said that, we'll be
Life
inundated.
management,
Now you've cleared that
Stand
up.
on the side and watch and give your opinion.
Yeah.
Pretty good at that.
Good, I like it.
Offering an opinion on things I know little about. Really good at that. It's a massive strength.
Social media at In The Stiffs. Email us at inthestiffs@gmail.com.
Yeah. Can we mention YouTube? So why haven't we got 1,000? We get loads more than 1,000
We've got proper
listeners.
close.
Why don't we get 1,000 subscribers?
Well, how many listeners are we getting per episode, Wits?
Well, it's just loads, aren't we? So like, why don't we?
12,000.
Why don't we get? Why aren't people subscribing? Is it just people can't be bothered, or is it because people like? Cause everybody's saying to me they are going to.
Do you know
I
what-
see the list of
Are we-
names?
are we
'Cause
close
I'll
to
just
1,000?
I'll go through my Facebook and I'll just start deleting people.
Can I put, but definitely do that. Can I, my theory, you can watch one of our videos on YouTube without subscribing.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
So I think people are quite lazy because the sign in is a bit of a ball ache, innit? Because I did it
Yeah.
the other day because I realised I actually hadn't subscribed.
Oh, that's good. You see, they make out me for not subscribing. You didn't subscribe yourself.
So I subscribed.
Oh, cheers,
I set up another couple of accounts as well and subscribed. But I think people just
Well,
can't.
I've asked
Can
everybody.
you, guys,
I
just
know.
get involved.
So I've got like
Subscribe.
600 friends on Facebook. So I've asked. I put it on Facebook. So I'm presuming there's if any of them
That's
600.
600,
If any of them 600 aren't subscribing, I'm gonna have a look. And they're
Gone.
Gone.
Right.
So I don't understand
Be
why, they're
warned.
not, why aren't people subscribing? Is it doing it to be nasty and pretend that they're being my friend and say, yeah, we'll subscribe and not doing it, wanting us to fail? Because you get a lot of people like that. I can't be bothered.
And once we get to 1,000 subscribers, as a milestone for us,
Yeah.
we'll do a giveaway to one of our
Yeah, we're going to start.
subscribers.
We'll start monetising a bit then, don't we? So we'll be giving money to.
I did a little. Whoa. Slow down.
We'll get-
That's where
we'll
the
get
money
millions,
comes in.
won't we?
Yeah.
When the money comes in, I'll be like, I'm just going to be dishing out of subscribers.
Yeah. Who wants a drink?
So, hey, if you're my Facebook friend and you haven't subscribed, don't come crying to me.
Nah.
Like, don't come to Aiston Life Management because I'll say, well, I've given you a way in. Get involved.
What's the
with us.
website?
Aiston Life Management.
.co.uk.
Yeah. AistonLifeManagement.com.
How's it gone from like it was a 3 thing, wasn't it? Like it was a trio.
It's Aiston and Friends to start
Yeah.
with.
Then it was Aiston and Co. Why was it ever Aiston, Dave? And he's taken on the mantle of like host as well. How's this ever like? It was never supposed to be like that.
These things just naturally evolve.
Yeah.
What was the word you said? You used to say organic.
Organic, yeah.
It's organic, isn't it?
You're always taking on the things I say.
It's organic. It's organic.
So it should be Cowan Life Management.
It's organic.
Remember to press pause when you're listening to this as well.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a long
as a
enough
good
commute.
tip. If you listen to it, and it's because it's 73 minutes, and even if Wits edits out a lot of the rubbish and gets it down to 23,
Wits
that
did
would still
say-
be a long time.
Make sure it's no longer than 45.
I'm leaving it all in.
Yeah.
Right. 2
So
episodes.
can people please subscribe?
Part 1, Part 2.
If everybody who listens to this subscribes, hey, we'll have way over.
I even put on my social media about giving away, getting hold of Van der Cowan and getting him to sign a shirt and getting it out there to everyone. And it went, to be fair, I had a lot more likes than normal.
And we
him
can,
better
and we
than
can
me.
start giving away money, like
Yeah,
Sam said.
yeah. We just give away
Doing
money.
a giveaway. What are you giving it? Money.
Yeah. How much? 100 quid.
Loads.
100 quid every time you subscribe. Every time someone subscribs now, between now and 1,000, Sam's going to give you £1,000.
I don't think that's going to be
Right.
think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
financially
yeah.
sound.
This is a little bit like the budging deal, isn't it? 95% off.
right. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you haven't subscribed and you're my Facebook friend, it's been nice knowing you because you're pretty much dead to me. Anything else to say? Anything to say, Dave? Come on, England in the rugby. But even if you lose England, you've done better than Wales and Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah, come on, England in the
Anybody
rugby.
else?
Come on, I want to go now to the Euros.
maybe-
So I want Wales to qualify now purposely. So England, Wales, and we go to the Euros.
It could be out by the
Dave
time
will get
this
us.
is played.
Dave will get us front seat.
England got-
You'll be doing commentary. We'll be behind you heckling you, and then we could
Yeah,
do a
like,
full
we
on
wouldn't-
in the stiffs.
Me and Gav now, like, I know we all try and pretend we want to be in the mix, and I do when I'm with the kids, but me and Gav now are at a stage in life where we don't want to be in the mix now, we want to be in the hospitality.
Yeah,
in a
Like,
box.
Gone are the
I
days.
don't want to be, me and Gav don't want to be sat on like plastic seats.
Nah,
If
no
you
more
need to pull
peasant
some
stuff,
strings,
mate. We want to
you've
be
got
right. I
get us,
want to
like,
be
in
the
a
padded
comfy
seats. Yeah.
And like, I'm not wanting to be in Moretti, like, I'm like, I have to think like a glass of champers if it's the Euros.
Yeah, you know where you go inside at half time? That's what I want.
Yeah.
With a team sheet. I want a team sheet
I
given
want a
to
team
me.
sheet.
I'm not bothered about programs.
I want a program, an actual program, and a cigar.
Yeah, yeah.
And a bratwurst.
And a brand. yeah.
Some little nibbles.
That's our best
some
hope of
olives.
getting there. Dave will get commentary.
Yeah.
We'll get tickets behind him. We'll take the GoPro,
Yeah.
which you'll have to come.
Open to sponsorship this is as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If any biscuits, well, Rule Fox is going to sort the biscuit.
Yeah, Rule Fox and Jack the Hat McVitie.
This is dragging on.
Right, yeah, sorry everyone.
See you later,
I reckon
everybody.
people loving it. Hang on, don't finish yet. I was just about to say. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good one. In the Stiffs with Budging Motors. Budging Motors are on Stafford Park in Telford and Featherbed Lane in Shrewsbury. For all your car needs, contact Budging now.